Hi folks, AJ here, CEO of Snapser. We're going to continue down our Snaps 101 series where we introduce you folks to the different snaps available on Snapser. Today we're going to have a look at experiments or A/B testing as a lot of people call it. Now before we begin, it's important to understand what does A/B testing or experimentation mean. Think of it as a way where developers have a tool to kind of give different experiences to the cohort of users on their application, figure out which is the winning experience, which maximizes, any one of their tier zero metrics. Think of it as maximizing your engagement or increasing your engagement, DAU, revenue, etc. And then finalizing and rolling out that experience for all of their users so that you're maximizing the potential of your game or your application. And today what we have for you is, we've already created a backend here with the analytics, authentication, and experimentation snaps in. And for this demo, let's just assume that, we've released a new feature, and the way the feature gets introduced to users is via dialog, which has a big red button, red colored button on it. And our team is seeing softness in that, which means that not too many people are clicking on it. They're not engaging with the feature. And one theory is that maybe that red color is not something people like. What if we change that to a blue color? And the right way to do this is not really just going in randomly and changing the color to blue, but using the experiment snap to give people these two experiences and comparing the metrics to finalize whether your assumption was correct or wrong. And so let's do that. To add this experiment, let's go to the snaps configuration tool, pick experiments, and add our first experiment. I'm going to call this button color, give it a description. Let's start the experiment. You can, pick a date time. I'm just going to pick yesterday's date, which means the experiment is already started. You can either give a particular time. Let's say you want to test this out for a week. You can pick 1 week from your start date. You also have the opportunity to run this experiment for all users or a particular segment of users. In previous videos, we've already covered statistics and segmentation, so you'll get a gist of how all these snaps very smartly work with each other if they're present. Let's keep the ramp to 0. Now this is where, folks, we've by default created a control and a treatment. Snapser allows you to create as many treatments as you want, but in our case right now, our control is the red color button, and the treatment is we want to test with a different color button. So we'll go in here, we'll give it a name which is A. Let's give it a weight of 50%. You can absolutely change the percentages according to what you want, but I'm just going to put red here, that's the color of the button. And in the treatment, what I want to do is 50% of your users should, instead of red, get blue in their response. One thing to note, the way experimentation they work in conjunction with your client team, right, or your front end team. The front end team has to, connect to the experiment API and at runtime figure out what is the value that is being returned and then change the color of the button. So we're creating this experiment that allows your client team to hit a particular API and get this information. So I'm pretty happy with this. I'm going to hit save. There it is. Our experiment has been created. Note our ramp is at 0%, which means no one in the wild yet is seeing this experiment. So let's now change that and ramp it to 100%. Usually, game teams or developers will ramp it slowly. They'll ramp it to 1%, maybe more, double digit, and then, kind of ramp it. For this demo, I'm just straight away ramping it to 100%. Awesome. So now that we have this experiment ramped, let's see how the user experience is going to be like from a game client or an app client perspective. What I've also done for this demo is I've gone to authentication and enabled anonymous login, which just allows us to do this demo quickly. So let's step in now. Let's go to authentication first and create two users. I'm going to create user A. There it is. User A has been created. Don't worry about the ID and the token for the user. It gets saved in our helper. So I'm just going to now create user B. There it is. That's user number 2. Now that we've created two users to play with, let's now go to the experiment API Explorer and see what happens when a particular user asks for its own experiment. So I'm going to now go to the helper and pick the first user we created, which is this user. I'm going to copy their user ID. I'm going to copy the user token, and the experiment name was button color, if you remember. I'm going to punch that in, and if I hit get, there it is. This user got assigned to the first treatment and got the response as red, which means my client is going to show me the button color of red. Let's see what happens now if we change it to a different user. I'm going to now go to user number 2, and I'm going to pick its user ID. I'm going to copy its user token, and if I hit get, there it is. I got assigned a color of blue. And note, the backend is automatically doing that depending on the weightage percentages that you had set. This is how, different users within your entire ecosystem are going to start seeing different experiences. You can then use the analytics snap to, send custom events depending on button clicks, get your team to figure out which is showing you more clicks, and then finalize the experience that you want to give your users. In subsequent demos, we're going to see how the experiments works with remote configuration to make this all dynamic. We'll also have a separate video to show you how the experiments forwards data to the analytics system, and then you can use Snapso's business intelligence to make more meaningful decisions. We'll cover all of that in subsequent videos, but hopefully this gives you a high-level picture of what the experiment Snap brings to the table. Please let us know how you like this video. Thank you.